truth does not shout, it vibrates quietly, waiting for the ear that listens. Tao Te Ching. What if I told you the biggest spiritual lie is that you need to become something more? The truth is far more dangerous. You were never broken, and your vibration doesn't rise by pretending to be positive. It stabilizes when you remember who you really are. This is the forgotten law Thoth left behind, the one that shows why reality bends not to your words, but to the silent frequency you hold. Stay with me, because in the next minutes you'll see why everything you've been taught about vibration has been upside down. Imagine your life as a stringed instrument, vibrating constantly whether you notice it or not. Thoth, the ancient master of hidden wisdom, taught that vibration isn't something you fake with surface smiles or hollow mantras. It's the very foundation of your reality. When your string is tuned correctly, the melody of your life flows effortlessly, even when storms rage outside. The secret isn't forcing a happy tune, but remembering the tone that's already yours. What happens when you realize your inner frequency never needed fixing in the first place? Most people spend their days trying to keep the mask from slipping, pushing affirmations into the mirror while their chest feels heavy. They think if they act positive, the universe will reward them, but that's like spraying perfume on a cracked pipe. It hides the smell, not the leak. Thoth's forgotten method whispered a different truth. Stability isn't performance, it's alignment. When your frequency resonates with who you truly are, no surface storm can throw you off key. And yet, how often do you confuse performance with presence? Picture a tree rooted deep in the earth. The wind can whip its branches, the rain can soak its leaves, but the roots don't break. That's the state this technique aims for, unshaken essence, stable no matter the weather. You don't get there by forcing joy or denying pain. You get there by anchoring in truth so firmly that circumstances can't pull you out. Wouldn't you rather be the rooted tree than the flimsy leaf blown about by every gust of life? Here's the twist. Once you touch this inner vibration, you stop living like a house of cards. Challenges still come, but instead of collapsing, your energy field remains solid, like a lighthouse on a rocky shore. You might even test this right now. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and feel your spine as the lighthouse tower, your breath the steady beam of light. Did you notice how your nervous system instantly shifted when you simply rooted awareness in the body? So why do most teachings ignore this simplicity? The modern obsession with positivity treats vibration like a mood swing, up today, down tomorrow. But the ancients didn't play that fragile game. They sought permanence, not performance. Thoth's code was designed to create a frequency that doesn't yo-yo with life's ups and downs. It was a way to step out of emotional turbulence and into timeless steadiness. And if you knew how to stabilize that field once and for all, wouldn't your whole life reorganize itself differently? That's the essence of the forgotten technique, not chasing positivity, not painting over cracks, but tuning into the deep hum of your authentic self. It's simple, but it's not easy, because the world constantly sells you masks to wear instead. The danger is mistaking those masks for your face. That's why the next step matters so much, exposing the lie of forced positivity, and how it secretly keeps you from ever touching this permanent vibration. So are you ready to see through the illusion that's fooled millions? Modern spirituality has sold the idea that being high vibe means wearing a permanent smile, writing endless gratitude lists, and pushing away every trace of fear or sadness. At first glance, it looks inspiring, but deep down it creates a subtle poison, spiritual guilt. People start believing that if they feel anxious, angry, or heartbroken, they're somehow broken or failing. Isn't it ironic that a path meant to free the soul often ends up chaining it with invisible shame? Think about the last time you felt low. Did you instantly try to patch it up with a quick affirmation, like slapping duct tape on a leaking pipe? That's the trap. It creates a polished surface that looks strong but collapses with the first challenge. Forced positivity becomes a house made of glass, beautiful until the smallest stone of reality hits. And once it shatters, you're left wondering if you ever had true stability at all. Isn't that the very opposite of spiritual strength? When emotions are denied, they don't vanish, they ferment. Sadness turns into bitterness, anger into quiet resentment, fear into hidden paralysis. Pretending these feelings don't exist doesn't raise vibration, it fragments it. Real practice doesn't deny the storm, it learns to stand in the rain without drowning. And when you think about it, haven't your most profound lessons come not from escaping pain, but from walking straight through it? The danger of forced positivity is subtle. On the outside, a person may appear radiant, with the perfect posts, the glowing captions, and the smile that never fades. But inside, their energy field is fragile, like a balloon stretched too thin, one needle away from bursting. And when life inevitably brings loss, conflict, or uncertainty, that field collapses instantly. Wouldn't it be better to build something that doesn't pop under pressure? Let's try something small together. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, and instead of pushing away your current emotion, just notice it. Feel it in your chest, your throat, your stomach. Don't fight it, don't name it, just let it exist. 10 seconds of raw honesty with yourself can be more healing than 10 years of pretending. Did you feel how the body relaxes the moment it doesn't have to hide? That's the doorway to stability, not denial. And here's the paradox: when you stop trying so hard to be positive, your true vibration naturally rises. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped splitting yourself in two. That's the missing piece in most teachings, the one almost no one talks about. And it leads us directly to the next secret, the art of integration, where light and shadow are not enemies, but parts of the same whole. So how do you embrace both without losing balance? High vibration isn't about deleting sadness, anger, or fear, it's about learning how to carry them without losing your center. Imagine holding a glass of water. If your hand is steady, the water stays calm, even when moved around. But if your hand shakes, the water spills everywhere. Emotions are the same. They're not the enemy, the instability is. Doesn't it change everything when you realize that true mastery isn't the absence of storms, but the art of sailing through them? Think of it this way: a musician doesn't remove the minor notes from a song, they weave them into the melody to give it depth. In the same way, your so-called negative emotions are part of the symphony of your being. Integration means allowing every note to exist, but refusing to let one discordant tone define the entire song. Haven't you noticed how the most beautiful music always carries both light and shadow within it? The mistake comes from identifying too tightly with the passing emotion, as if it's your whole identity. I am angry quickly becomes a prison, while I feel anger is just a passing visitor. The first shrinks you, the second frees you. Real integration happens when you observe emotions as guests at your inner table, not as tyrants taking over your home. What would change if you greeted each guest with awareness instead of resistance? Let's try a short practice. Sit back for a moment, breathe in, and visualize yourself as a mountain. Let sadness be the rain, anger the thunder, fear the wind. They come and go, but the mountain doesn't move. Feel the weight of that steadiness in your chest, and notice how the storm no longer defines you. Doesn't that simple shift already feel like reclaiming power you forgot you had? Integration also means honesty in daily life. If you're sad, say you're sad. If you're tired, admit it. Pretending costs energy, authenticity restores it. The paradox is that once you accept the shadow, it stops controlling you. The energy you used to waste on denial becomes fuel for coherence. Isn't that why some people feel strangely magnetic, not because they're flawless, but because they're whole? When you stop running from the shadow, you finally meet your authentic self, the one strong enough to hold both joy and pain in the same heart. This is where vibration stabilizes for real, in presence, not perfection. And this naturally opens the door to the next mystery, where ancient civilizations treated vibration not as poetry, but as a scientific law of creation. So, ready to see how the ancients turned this into a practical force? The ancients didn't just talk about vibration, they built entire worlds around it. In Egypt, the temple wasn't just stone and columns, it was a living diagram of the human body. The walls were the skin, the chambers were the organs, and the inner sanctum was the heart. Priests taught that the body itself was a temple, and vibration was the bridge between flesh and spirit. Doesn't it make you wonder if those sacred spaces were less about worshiping gods and more about remembering the law of resonance? In India, sages spoke of spanda, the sacred pulsation. They described the universe not as static matter but as rhythm and dance. Every breath, every heartbeat, every mantra was part of this cosmic pulse. Even today, yogic chants like Om aren't just words, they're tuning forks aligning your system with universal vibration. And when you feel the vibration buzzing in your chest as you chant, isn't that proof that creation itself is built on rhythm? What's fascinating is how these traditions treated vibration as a practical tool, not an abstract philosophy. Chanting, drumming, movement, and silence were technologies of alignment. They weren't meant to impress outsiders. They were designed to reorder the inner world so reality itself could respond differently. And when you think about it, haven't you noticed how one song can shift your entire mood in seconds, like magic you can't explain? Ancient Egypt even used initiation rituals to simulate death, stripping away illusions so the initiate could face pure frequency. India refined pranayama, breathwork that literally reshapes the nervous system. Greece created the Orphic chants to touch divine memory. Across cultures, vibration was the hidden code, and initiation was the way to unlock it. Don't you see how these practices weren't random, but variations of the same universal law? If you pause for a moment, you can feel a hint of it right now. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and listen, not to the noise outside, but to the subtle hum beneath it. That faint hum is always there, like the bass line of existence, waiting to be noticed. Doesn't it strike you that silence itself is full of sound once you tune into it? And here's the crucial insight. The ancients didn't believe the universe responded to appearances, only to frequency. What mattered wasn't how you looked, but what you radiated when no one was watching. That leads directly to the next revelation, the clash between vibration and appearance, and why most people confuse one for the other. So, how do you tell the difference between looking radiant and truly vibrating radiance? The universe isn't fooled by masks. You can smile in every photo, write endless affirmations, and tell yourself you're fine, but your frequency never lies. What really shapes your reality is the silent energy you broadcast when nobody's looking. It's the tone beneath your words, the undercurrent in your habits, the pattern in your thoughts. Haven't you ever met someone who looked cheerful on the outside, but you instantly felt the heaviness around them? That's because the universe doesn't respond to appearances, it responds to vibration. Think of it like a radio signal. You can decorate the radio however you want, paint it gold, polish the buttons, but if the frequency is set to static, all you'll hear is noise. In the same way, if your inner frequency is incoherent, no amount of smiling will convince the universe otherwise. And isn't that why forced positivity always feels hollow, both to you and those around you? This is why habits and emotions matter more than surface rituals. The way you breathe when you're stressed, the tone of thought that runs through your mind before sleep, even how you treat strangers when no one is watching, these are the signals that broadcast your vibration 24/7. The outer mask can shine, but the inner field is the true transmitter. So what's the point of polishing the mask if the signal underneath is still broken? Try this quick experiment. Pause for a few seconds, close your eyes, and notice your chest. Is it tight, shallow, restless? Or open, steady, and calm? That feeling is your real broadcast. You can't Photoshop it, you can't fake it, and you can't hide it. But the moment you notice it, you can shift it. Isn't it liberating to realize you're always in direct contact with the universe through this invisible dial? This is also why two people can say the same words with completely different impact. One speaks "I love you" from coherence, and the whole room feels it. Another says it from emptiness, and the words fall flat. Energy speaks louder than syllables. That's the hidden truth most teachings skip over. It's not what you say, it's what you vibrate. Doesn't this explain why some voices soothe instantly while others create unease, even if the words are kind? And here lies the challenge. If the universe hears vibration, then the first enemy you must face is not sadness or anger, it's the fragmented noise of your own thoughts. Because if the mind is chaotic, the broadcast is chaotic too. That brings us straight to the next key: how fragmented thought scatters your vibration and how you can reclaim order from the noise. So, ready to see how your mind is shaping your frequency every second? Overthinking is like having 1,000 tiny radios all playing at once, each tuned to a different station. No matter how hard you try to focus, the static drowns out the melody. That's what happens when the mind is scattered with constant comparisons, doubts, and mental chatter. Every thought carries a frequency, and when they collide in chaos, your vibration becomes distorted. Haven't you felt those days when your mind won't stop running, and your energy feels completely drained? Thoth taught that thought is the very first point of vibrational entry. Before words leave your mouth, before actions shape your day, the mind sets the signal. If the mind is disordered, no ritual or affirmation can stabilize vibration. It's like trying to build a temple on shifting sand, the structure won't last. And isn't it true that your outer reality often mirrors the inner storm running silently in your head? Here's the good news. The solution isn't to stop thinking. That's impossible. The solution is conscious observation. When you watch your thoughts without grabbing them, they start to lose their grip. Picture them like clouds drifting across the sky. You notice them, but you don't chase them. Slowly, order returns, and the frequency steadies. Can you feel how even imagining that sky right now softens the weight in your chest? Try this micro practice. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and for 10 seconds, watch your thoughts like passing cars. Don't judge, don't chase, just notice. One thought speeds by, another follows, and soon you realize, you're the observer, not the traffic. That small shift is powerful. Did you sense how your awareness feels larger than the thoughts themselves? Isn't that the first taste of mental order? When thoughts align, vibration strengthens. Instead of scattered energy pulling in all directions, your focus becomes a laser. That's when creativity flows, decisions feel clear, and your body relaxes. You're no longer at war with yourself. Coherent thought produces coherent energy, and coherent energy stabilizes your field. And isn't it easier to trust life when your own mind finally feels like an ally instead of an enemy? Yet thought alone isn't enough. You could have the clearest mind and still feel unstable if your emotions are all over the place. That's why the next key unlocks something deeper, the power of sustained emotion, those elevated states that turn vibration into a steady flame instead of a flickering candle. So, want to discover how love and gratitude can rewire your entire frequency? Some people treat emotions like passing weather, here today, gone tomorrow, but the ancients saw them as vibrational matrices. Elevated feelings such as love, gratitude, and reverence aren't just moods, they're frequencies that organize the entire energy field. When you hold them long enough, they imprint a steady identity the universe recognizes. Haven't you noticed how simply being around someone genuinely compassionate feels like stepping into a different atmosphere? The trick is consistency. A brief burst of gratitude may lift you for a moment, but sustained gratitude rewires your inner circuitry. It's like charging a battery. One spark won't last, but steady current creates lasting power. Neuroscience even shows that practicing gratitude daily reshapes neural pathways, making positive resonance easier to access. So, isn't it worth asking what might happen if you trained emotion the way you train muscle? Let's make this practical. Close your eyes and recall a moment when someone showed you unconditional kindness. Maybe it was a stranger who helped you, or a loved one who forgave you. Hold that memory until you feel warmth spreading in your chest. Stay with it for just 15 seconds. Did you notice how your breath slowed, your shoulders softened, and a subtle calm filled the body? That's vibrational coherence in action. Sustained emotions also act like a shield. When your baseline is love or compassion, external chaos has less power to knock you off balance. You stop absorbing every negative frequency around you because your inner field is stronger. It's not about being naive or ignoring reality. It's about anchoring so deeply in your chosen state that it becomes your natural broadcast. And don't you find life feels lighter when your energy isn't hijacked by every mood in the room? This is where people often realize vibration is less about effort and more about practice. You don't force the heart to open, you invite it, moment after moment, until openness becomes second nature. Over time, those emotions turn into your signature frequency, like a song the universe never stops hearing. Wouldn't you love to be remembered by the energy you radiate, rather than the words you say? But there's still another piece. Even with coherent thought and sustained emotion, vibration scatters if you keep drifting into the past or future. That's why the next step is so crucial, learning to live fully in the now, where energy naturally gathers and stabilizes. So how do you anchor in the present moment when the mind is always trying to escape it? Most people live as if time were split into fragments, replaying the past like a broken record or rehearsing the future like a script that never ends. Both scatter vibration, draining energy before the day has even begun. Presence, on the other hand, gathers everything back into one point, the eternal now. When you enter that space, coherence happens instantly, as if the body, mind, and soul suddenly remember they're supposed to move together. Haven't you felt how even one mindful breath can shift an entire moment? Think about it. Anxiety is always future-based, depression is often past-based, but peace only ever exists in the now. When you're fully present, the chatter loses power because it has nothing to feed on. It's like pulling the plug from a noisy machine. Silence fills the room, and you realize the noise was optional all along. Doesn't that change the way you see your worries, knowing they can't survive without your attention? Here's a small practice you can try right now. Put your hand on your chest, inhale deeply, and as you exhale, say quietly to yourself, "Here." Do it again, this time feeling the air moving through your nostrils, the warmth in your palm, the rhythm of your heart. In just 10 seconds, your awareness has shifted from scattered to centered. Didn't the world outside suddenly feel less urgent? Presence also changes relationships. Imagine talking to someone who's truly there with you, not scrolling, not distracted, but fully listening. You feel seen, safe, valued. That's the gift of presence. It stabilizes not only your vibration but also the field of those around you. Isn't that why certain people feel magnetic, even when they say very little? Living in the now isn't about rejecting the past or ignoring the future. It's about letting them take their rightful place. The past becomes wisdom, the future becomes possibility, but the present is where power lives. When you realize this, stress no longer drains you because energy isn't split into what was and what might be. Doesn't it feel liberating to know that stability is always one breath away? And here's the bridge. Once you anchor in the now, you begin to notice something deeper, whether your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are actually aligned. Because without coherence across all levels, vibration can't remain steady. So, how do you create full alignment so that the universe hears one clear signal instead of mixed messages? True vibrational stability isn't just about thinking positively or feeling good once in a while, it's about full alignment. When your thoughts go one way, your emotions another, your words say something different, and your actions contradict them all, your energy field becomes scrambled. The universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to the whole signal you radiate. Haven't you noticed how confusing it feels to be around someone who says one thing but clearly feels another? Think of coherence like an orchestra. If each instrument plays its own melody without listening to the others, the result is noise. But when they follow the same rhythm, a symphony emerges. Your mind, body, emotions, and soul are those instruments. and vibration is the music they create together. When they're aligned, you don't just sound harmonious, you attract harmony. Wouldn't you rather live as a symphony than as static? Daily life offers constant tests of coherence. You might think about starting a healthier routine, but if your body craves junk food, your words promise change, and your actions stay the same, the frequency collapses. That's why transformation feels exhausting when alignment is missing. But the moment your choices, habits, and intentions all move in the same direction, energy multiplies instead of leaking. Haven't you felt how easy life flows when everything inside you agrees? Here's a quick exercise. Take a breath and ask yourself, does what I want, what I feel, what I say, and what I do line up, or are they scattered? Don't overthink, just notice the answer. Even 10 seconds of awareness can reveal where energy is leaking. And when you bring one small action back into alignment, the entire field feels stronger. Didn't you sense a subtle shift just by asking the question? Coherence also explains magnetism. That person you admire who seems to attract opportunities effortlessly? It's not luck, it's alignment. Their vibration is so consistent that reality mirrors it back. When your inner field is clear, outer life responds in kind, as if drawn by invisible threads. Doesn't that reframe success as less about chasing and more about radiating? But here's the catch. As soon as your vibration strengthens, life will test it. Old triggers, difficult people, and familiar challenges tend to resurface, not to punish you, but to prove whether your alignment is real. And that leads us to the next revelation, why these tests matter and how stabilization happens through them. So, ready to see how challenges become confirmations instead of setbacks? Here's the paradox no one tells you. The moment you raise your vibration, life often sends you the very situations you thought you'd left behind. Old triggers resurface, difficult people reappear, and familiar patterns knock at your door. At first, it feels like regression, as if all your progress vanished. But in truth, these are tests, opportunities to anchor your new frequency under real pressure. Haven't you noticed how the past tends to circle back right when you feel strongest? Think of it like training a muscle. Lifting a heavier weight doesn't mean you're weaker, it means your capacity is growing. In the same way, when life throws challenges your way, it's not punishment, it's proof. Each test asks, can you hold this new vibration even here? Passing isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And isn't that the real measure of mastery, staying rooted even when the storm returns? These tests often reveal how fragile old habits were. Maybe used to snap in anger or collapse in doubt, but now, with awareness, you pause instead of reacting. That pause is gold, it's the space where old patterns dissolve. Every time you choose stability over reaction, the old frequency loses its grip. Doesn't it feel powerful to realize that silence itself can break cycles? Try this in practice. The next time you feel triggered, breathe deeply and imagine your energy field as a glowing sphere. As the person or situation presses in, hold that sphere steady, like a shield of light. 10 seconds of anchored breath can transform the whole encounter. Didn't you sense just now, even imagining it, that your body relaxed and your chest expanded? The beauty of these moments is that they confirm your growth. You realize vibration isn't just an emotional high, it's your new identity. tests no longer scare you because each one is proof that the foundation holds. And with each confirmation, your field grows steadier, until what once shook you barely stirs the surface. Doesn't it feel freeing to know that challenges can become your certification instead of your downfall? And this is where Thoth's legacy shines most clearly. Stabilization isn't about escaping life, it's about radiating through it. When you stop collapsing under pressure, you stop being reactive and start becoming creative. That's the threshold where vibration transforms from a practice into a way of being. And it leads us straight into the final insight, the legacy of Thoth and the realization that you are the origin point of your reality itself. So, shall we step into that last secret together? High vibration was never meant to be a privilege for the few or a trick hidden behind secret rituals. It was always a way of being. Thoth's legacy reminds us that vibration isn't about chasing perfection or forcing joy. It's about living in coherence, anchored in truth, and present in authenticity. When you embody that, your life stops revolving around reaction and starts radiating outward. Doesn't it make sense that true mastery would feel less like effort and more like natural presence? Think about it. When your vibration is stable, the world no longer dictates how you feel. Instead of being tossed around by circumstances, you become the steady center around which life reorganizes itself. People sense it. Opportunities respond to it. Reality bends to match it. Isn't that the real hidden power? To stop waiting for the outside world to change and instead broadcast a frequency that shapes it? This realization also dismantles the illusion of waiting for salvation. You're not climbing toward worthiness, you're uncovering what was always there. The law of vibration isn't something you visit, it's what you are. Once you see yourself as the origin point, the endless search ends. And doesn't that dissolve the need for external approval, knowing your energy is the true source of creation? Let's try a short anchor now. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, and as you exhale, imagine your whole body glowing with a golden hum, as if every cell were vibrating in harmony. Hold that awareness for 10 seconds. Feel the stability, the steadiness, the quiet strength. Isn't it striking how quickly the body remembers what the mind forgets? This is the gift Thoth left behind, not a formula, but a remembrance. High vibration isn't about escaping pain, it's about being so rooted in essence that pain can move through without breaking you. From this place, you don't just live, you radiate, and in radiating, you transform your world. Haven't you always known, deep down, that you were meant to be more than reactive flesh and fleeting thoughts? And so we return full circle. Vibration isn't performance, it's identity. You are the frequency shaping everything around you. The forgotten technique was never lost, it was simply waiting for you to remember. And now, as you hold this truth, the only question left is, how will you live, knowing you are the origin point of your reality? So now you've seen it, vibration isn't about faking smiles or chasing perfection, it's about remembering who you already are. The moment you align thought, emotion, body, and soul, the universe stops ignoring you and starts echoing their frequency back. This isn't theory, it's a choice you can make in every breath. Will you keep living on borrowed signals, or will you broadcast the truth of your own essence starting today? Take a pause right now, yes, literally. Breathe in slowly, feel the steadiness of your chest, and exhale as if you're releasing every mask you've been forced to wear. That's your real vibration, raw and unshaken. Imagine carrying this state into every conversation, every challenge, every dream. What would your life look like if you stopped collapsing and started radiating? If this message stirred something inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe and turn on the bell so this frequency stays alive in your journey. Like this video if it resonated, and share it with someone you know is searching for more than surface-level positivity. And I want to hear from you, one word in the comments: remember. Your path doesn't end here. The next video on your screen takes this even deeper, revealing the hidden codes that ancient masters used to shape reality itself. Don't stop now, step through, because your journey of remembrance has only just begun.